Hello and happy Monday! What an exciting time to be here. I've been very much looking forward to connecting in with everyone. I'm going to give you all a chance to check in. So today is Monday, January 25th, 2021. Hello, hello! I'm excited to have you all here. And want to start out with, I set the intention to pull one card today and 4 came out. I kept trying to put the deck down and they wouldn't stop. So I just want to share them with you before we move into clearing the space, setting our intentions, and then chatting about grounding and what that looks like. I have so much to share with you about grounding, and it's something you can probably return to, but it's such an important practice to function well, especially as a sensitive being in this world. Grounding should be part of pre-K. You know, it just should be part of the training program for life. So let's go ahead, clear the space first, set our intentions, and then I'll chat about the cards, etc. So I have my feather, going to use the infinity loop to clear, bathe, blast, purify, harmonize, and divinitize this communication, this space that I'm in, this platform that we are communicating through, all who are watching in this now, whatever now that is, whatever experience of the now. May it be aligned with highest light, highest love, purity of intention and spirit. And just calling in angels, guides, guardians of the highest light within our I Am team and presence to be here now, to hold space while we talk about all the things, open our hearts, and connect into Mother Earth. And let's just invite Mother Earth, the elementals, the devas, the fairies, all the aspects of Mother Earth into our space, into our awareness, not our like energy space, but just into our awareness, welcoming these aspects of creation in, acknowledging, appreciating. Because none of this will be possible without all the participants here. Okay. So be it. All right. First things first, I want to talk about the 1,000,005 cards. So the first one we have today, I think this will just look. I'm just reporting the news here, but the first one we have is surrender. So surrender is the first one that came up. And then it was journey to wholeness. So a lot of times this card is around trauma, drama, pain, stories being kind of fractured and then coming back together again. And so this is just the intention of this talk today and what's coming through to help support your system in this. Communication, co-creation is the next one. So being able to, the power of our words. Thoughts become things, but what we speak and what we bring into our reality. And that can also tie in with grounding. So the ironic part, this is the last one, Spirit always has a sense of humor, is the crown chakra. So we'll just see. Obviously the crown chakra is at the top of the head, if you don't know. And this connects us with our higher self, with our spirit. It's kind of the opening the channel, the gateway to our highest self. So as we ground though, then we're able to open up and receive information safely and anchor in. Okay, so let me get right into grounding and what it is. So grounding is a way that we plug in the electrical nervous system of our bodies into the frequency of Mother Earth. So we are all like little walking, let's just pretend we're like little cell phones. And for many of us, we have not plugged our cell phone into the charger in a long time. And so we're kind of on low battery, and you hear the beep beep, and the screen is kind of weak and dimming out. And that's where a lot of us are kind of just floating around Earth, not plugged in, not charged, not getting the connection and the updates that we need to function optimally. And so from a basic level, and our system starts to short out when we're not plugged in. And you might notice that in your daily life as being anxious, depressed, short-tempered. Your memory might be fading in and out. There could be other reasons, but I'm speaking today I'm going to be speaking on a really basic level of grounding. And then as your energy bodies and your systems, you go through these layers of healing, you start to interact and have different experiences. So what I'm teaching today and talking about today is going to be kind of the entry level, and then just know that your experience and way of connecting in, I might allude to some of it as we go along, but it might be different. I came up with some gems as I was setting up for this. So the benefits of grounding: calmer, nicer, less reactive. Your blood pressure probably will lower. Your mood and the swings of your mood will stabilize, and you will feel less edgy. Now, you pair that with what we talked about last week in neutral separations, when you're carrying other people's energy around. This is just another layer. And I can't say that one is more important than the other, neutral separations or grounding. They're both really important, especially for us, let's just say, sensitive souls, and however that shows up for you. It's good for everybody, but these tools are almost imperative that we learn and practice for those who are wired in this particular way. Let me see what else here. So if you have kids or you're around kids, especially if you have kids, like biological children, especially when they're younger, like under 7 years old, most of the time they are plugged into your grounding system. And so if you notice your kids are kind of out running around in the ethers, you might want to check yourself. If you're a mother, check yourself. Typically children run their grounding through the mother, because they tend to come out of the mother's body. And so if you ground yourself and anchor yourself in, it helps to support the child. And it might take a little time, but they'll learn that safe, stable, grounded place. Also, when you start to anchor in your energy in this new way, people around you don't know what's going on. You don't have to say anything, but I guarantee you that the dynamic will shift, because it's something that they probably don't have the language for, or the understanding, or the ability to point it out, but they'll just notice something's different, and your interaction with them changes. Not that you're changing them, but how you show up. It's kind of like you have a very different outfit on, a different filter on, and then by default, their interaction has to change. It's kind of like if any of you have mastered that sacred no. When you feel it through your whole core of your being, like, no is the answer that most aligns with my height. It's like no or nothing else, And when you say that, and if you're afraid, I gotta say no to this person, I feel so bad. When you say that no, and everything, you just watch the boom, 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 the kind of sonic boom effect. When you say the no, it shifts your reality. And that's what happens with grounding, but it's probably going to be a little bit more subtle, because when saying a sacred no is a big reality shift for people. But grounding, it can slowly kind of seep in like water on top of a plant over time. Okay. Okay, and so I mentioned this as well. As you are plugged in with Earth, the updates will help you keep up with the changes that are going on, so your program of you as a human doesn't short out. So you're always up to date in the know, and that's part of like connecting down into that crystal, the USB port of the Earth, and bringing it back up into you. And from this grounded state, you have a very different perspective. It doesn't mean that you're locked in. It actually enables you to like anchor down and then boom, go bigger. And from that place, you have a very different perspective of life. and your reactions to life and interactions with life and what you choose to bring in, what you choose to let go. So it's tremendously empowering because you feel more safe and stable and secure. And like there's not something like I always feel this in these sessions, like something like right in you, like right here. That's what a lot of us deal with and live with, just this thing breathing down our neck in some way, shape, or form. And so when you're running your light anchored into the earth, it's just easier to go bigger and not have all of that stuff in the background. And so from this new perspective, you begin to reprioritize your life. And I put this in here. It allows you to let that shit go. So whatever isn't working allows you to get real, because not only are you working with yourself in here and coming home into yourself, you're anchored down with the earth, and you have kind of like a co-creative partner with the earth who says, okay, I'm here, I got your back, and I'm here to support you as you make these bigger changes, and especially with the stuff around what I'm getting dizzy, stuff around family, you know, and bigger changes with really sticky dynamics with relationships. Those tend to be hard. Grounding is such a great tool along with those neutral separations. And then it allows you to call in a new experience. Okay, so those are the benefits. I was gonna talk about how we're gonna go into. Let me think. Hold on. Give me a second here. So really, I've gone through what it is. Well, I've gone through why to do it and how it helps in your life. Okay, I want to talk about what is it actually. So it's that anchoring in with your electromagnetic system into the earth. But it's also a way that your spirit, as you anchor in your physical body, using the electromagnetic pulse of the earth as well as you sync up, it helps your spirit self come into your physical vessel, because it's almost like you have a trap door on your feet, and when they're not connected into the earth, the trap door stays closed and it gets full of just stuff that isn't you, just full of day-to-day stuff. And then your spirit is almost pushed out of your body. This is a very simplistic way of explaining it, but I hope it's getting the point across. And so when the spirit leaves the body, what you want to do is open up, connect your feet into the earth. It opens up the trap doors in your feet, so all the stuff that's accumulated can go out and your spirit self can come back into your body. So it's much more nuanced than that. It depends on dimensionally what you're looking at, but I hope that is kind of a rudimentary explanation of why you want to ground. Because if you ever have felt dissociated or not fully there, you hear like you're in a talking to somebody and you're like they're you can't understand what they're saying and you don't feel fully connected in the moment. That's an example of when you're dissociated. You're not anchored in your body. You're out of your body. Your spirit is out of your body, especially if you've had any traumatic experiences. We find that door out very quickly, and it's a matter of retraining and repracticing bringing yourself back into your body. That requires some healing of this cellular memory and in your physical structure along with the emotional body. But we start with the grounding and the neutral separation, so then your spirit can kind of dip its toe back in and go out. And then slowly over time, we make it safe to come into the body. But we do that by connecting into the earth, feeling our feet on the ground, and dropping whatever isn't serving us down into the earth. But I want to make a caveat here. It used to be just drop it all, let it go, give it to earth. We're evolving, and we're being asked to be more responsible creator beings, even if you're still beginning. And the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do before you go into the earth is come into your heart space. And if you don't feel your heart, you don't connect there, start the conversation, because we have to begin to acknowledge this space and our ownership of our experience first, and then drop it down, instead of just, I can't deal with this, earth, take it, which is fine. But this is what, from where I'm standing here, we're being asked to move one more step forward here and breathe into your heart. And that's why we start the practices like rubbing your hands together, coming into your heart, feeling the pulse of your hands, the pulse of your heart as you anchor into your body. Hold on one second. Let me do this so we don't have any more interruptions. Okay, so we come into the heart and then we drop it all down. So it actually, we're taking all of our stuff and saying, hey, we're tagging it and saying, hey, look, I know I picked this up. I know this is my storyline, but Mother Earth or Spirit, Creator, please return this to the source of its origin. I'm ready to release it. Help me to transmute. Will you work together with me to help me transmute what I've picked up, what I've accumulated, okay? So let me see what else there is. I want to make sure I cover all these points here. Update, restore our system, perspective. Yeah, and I mentioned this before, but like the emotional distress part, when there are imbalances that come up in our system, especially emotionally, a lot of times this is just from a lack of grounding. And there's other issues that led to the lack of grounding that need to be witnessed, that are asking to be witnessed. But by beginning the conversation, coming back into your body and anchoring into the earth, you begin to provide a safe platform and space for the things that are unresolved, that are sitting in the queue of your emotional, mental, and physical processing. It allows them to be processed out. Otherwise, we just pop out of our bodies and then we have these reactions where we passively try to play out old wounds and old storylines through disempowered action. So soak that in for a second. When we're out and we're trying to process out, our systems are trying to process out. They're like little children that are trying to finish the story. And we need our adult self, our higher self, our soul self to come in and be the bigger parent here. For so many of us, we didn't have the parents that we needed. Even if they were well-intentioned, we didn't have the parents we needed. So we're being asked as adults, if you're an adult watching this, to be that parent, to step in and call in your higher self, to lovingly parent yourself in a way that no one ever could. Even the most well-intentioned parent could never parent you the way that you know you need, because you're inside and you know what you need. Okay. Just want to feel in what's going on here. And so I think the waters I just feel are moving a little bit. So let's use this as a time to practice. Now, I brought in this beautiful lady here. This is my very special rose quartz. She's a little purpley looking. She is all heart and like the most unconditional love. Unconditional love. And this is a very powerful stone and frequency that it holds. And so we're just going to hold that space for today while we first come into the heart, and we'll practice this grounding in a new way. And the unconditional love is not only for yourself and your experience, but also bringing it to the earth. So whatever we take to her, we've owned it in our heart. We acknowledge our participation in it, whether we like it or not. And then we release it into the earth, and we can also do the neutral separations at the same time. So returning it to the source of its origin, putting it on the other side of the river. But there's two different ways we're going to release, and then we're going to connect in. Okay, and so all of this is designed to give you ways. We're going to continue to build on this. I'll see what we'll talk about next week. To give you ways to run your power, live your truth, and be the light that you're meant to be, like the wattage that you're meant to be in this world. So I talk about these things, and I want to give you the tools and the experiences to bring that into being for yourself. Okay? So rub your hands together. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Build it up. Okay, good. Clap a couple times. Bring your hands to your heart. And that poem, the Ho'oponopono, forgive me here, I'm sorry, the Hawaiian prayer forgiveness, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you, is coming up right now, just from the heart space. And it has this feeling of surrender. Okay, and so we're just going to give whatever is on your heart that's relevant in this now or any other time here. I just see a lot of stuff coming up. We're just going to acknowledge our participation. And feel the feelings, feel the grief, feel the weeping, whatever it is. And exhale, ask if Mother Earth will help support you in transmuting. Inhale. And again, have that river for the heavier stuff. Put it on the other side of the river. Put it in the holy fire, that pearlescent gold fire across from you. Way, way, way far away. Exhale. Release the grief. What no longer serves. Inhale. Into your heart. Feel your heart melting open, intending it to open up, just asking, allowing the brain to drain into the heart. All that noise. Exhale. Send it down your spine into the earth. Good. Breathing in and out. And so we're just going to first open up the chakras in the feet. So this is your foot. Imagine this is your foot. There's a chakra that comes out like an ice cream cone out of your foot, center of your foot. These are your toes here, straight down into the earth. Ask those, feel those, intend that they open up. So drop your awareness like an elevator down into your feet. Use your breath, open up your feet. And we're going to pretend, use your imagination, use your intention. Find your favorite place on the earth. Is it a beach, a river, field, mountains, stone? Find your favorite place and go there in your mind's eye. Bring your body to that experience. What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What's the air like around you? Feel your body on that surface. Maybe there's a tree you lean up against or a rock. Yep. And feeling your feet open up. You might have a whole tingly sensation with your entire body. And so this is bringing you back into synchronizing with nature, with the kind of organic structure of what we as physical bodies are built upon. Our lives in general are operating in an artificial environment. And by even doing this practice, this is how powerful we are by going into our mind's eye and imagining we're in that place of nature. We're taking our whole experience and connecting in with our organic, natural design, our way of being. And we're going to begin to plug in our battery. So imagine your feet are like prongs. You're going to plug your feet into the earth. And just notice what that feels like. And what we're doing is we're beginning the conversation with connecting with the heartbeat of the earth. That's Schumann resonance. It measures the heartbeat, the electromagnetic frequency of the earth. And if you like, you can imagine you have tree roots or cords or ropes, whatever feels right to you, that grow out of your feet and down your spine, out of your tailbone. maybe even out of your hands. Just imagine these roots, I'm going to call them, are connecting you like a tree down into the earth. Breathing in and out. And allowing, just seeing if those roots grow deeper. Feel, sensing, know the crystals of the earth, the dirt, the water. And so dropping down. Again, this is like a feeling like a pulsing sensation. So if you're here in the body and as you drop down, you grow heavier. Feel that it's not electric. Feel the gravitational pull or a magnetic pull. So sometimes it's gravity, sometimes it's helpful to have a magnetic field, but feel whatever isn't serving your body. Think of them like heavy metals, like iron filaments that are being drawn out of your body by the pulse of the earth. It's almost like if you're sitting on the ground, like you sink down just a little bit deeper because of that pull. And as things are being pulled and drained out of your body, we're asking that they go down all the way to the core of the earth to be transmuted, but mostly to update the earth in the crystalline core of the earth, the center of the earth. Update your crystal. What are you releasing now? What's the newest program that needs to come in for you? And when all that information kind of mixes, your information of what you're releasing and your unique energy signatures, it mixes in with the core of the earth. It's sent back up to you to rejuvenate, to restore, to reconnect, to update you. And that's going to not only help your physical, like your biological systems, emotionally, your energetic systems, your auric field will come into wholeness. And it will allow you to open up safely and connect in with your higher information. More spiritual information can be accessed from this grounded place in a safe way. Some practices can teach people just to up and leave the body and astral travel, etc. Those can be good tools, but if you're not grounded, you don't know. It's like leaving your house with the doors unlocked or wide open. You want to be here, know what's going on in your business here, and then you can leave, but you're still connected. Your house is secure. And again, as you evolve in your experience, that the rules will evolve too, and rules, the protocols. Okay, and so just feel that energy pulsing up through the earth, through your feet, and up through your legs. And just see what happens. Feel the feelings of being connected with earth. Think of like a tree that's just so amazing and what it's like to lean up against that tree. Like a big hug. And so that energy is going to go up your body, the back body, and then down the front. And kind of cycle through, and it's going to flow out like fountain out the top of your head, and then it'll go back down to the earth. So we have this bigger loop happening here. And I'm just going to invite you, this is kind of like a little bit up there, the next step in grounding. So if you're feeling this cycle, imagine that figure eight. And I've talked about this many times, the infinity loop, but looping over your heart and then going down into the Earth's core, and looping back up to you. And so you're going to synchronize your heartbeat. Just making a kind of making a commitment to connecting with the Earth. Saying hello. In a new way, like open up a new connection here. All right, and so now let's bring in, while we're here running this, let's invite a pearlescent gold. So take a pearl, melt it with some gold so it'll have kind of a sheen, and then let that flow from the top of your head and just run through your body, kind of like a waterfall, through all the inside of your head, your brain, through all the nooks and crannies, the crevices of your body, down your throat, out your arms, and it's just going to gently wash through, releasing, and whatever comes out can be returned to the core of the earth to be transmuted. But you're doing this again from the intention of the heart space. Washing through the digestive tract, the organs, your bones. Okay. And so now just let's bring in last week's practice of the neutral separations from this different place of being grounded. Feeling that pearlescent gold pulsing through your body and in your auric field, the bubbles around you, the energy layers around you. Create a gold bubble that collects anything that you're ready to release. Put it in that bubble and then move it to the other side of the river. Unplug, unplug, unplug from storylines, anything that doesn't serve, anything that has you looping, anything that brings up that anxiety. Return it to the source of its origin, transmuting completely and healing to completion now. All, and may it be clear, bathed, blessed, purified, harmonized, and divinitized in the highest light, all in accordance to divine will, with divine will. And now we're just going to invite your energy to return back to you, clear, bathed, blessed, purified, harmonized, and divinitized in the highest light, highest love. You can have a gold bowl above your head to receive your energy back to you in highest alignment. And so we're building. We had last week's the neutral separations, and now we've gone through a grounding practice and neutral separations. And just see, does it feel a little more buoyant within your being? Do you feel a little more stabilized? Because that is the intention. We're doing think of computers or electrical devices that have that copper wire running out of it to help anchor down the excess charge. And so many of us are running around with our copper wire just floating in the wind all over the place, but not where it needs to be. And so by doing this practice, we're anchoring it in the ground. And so that's going to remove the that excess charge, will help us, and it will help us be more clear and grounded, less grouchy, less anxiety filled. And that's really what we're looking to do. I mean, because if your quality of life can be even 10% better than it is, well, why the heck not, So taking these, we took a little extra time today to get into the feeling, but you can take 3 minutes a day. I would encourage you to do it AM and PM before bed. Do the neutral separations, do the grounding. If you can do it throughout the day, great. If you need a little extra support, because sometimes it's just I can't freaking ground. Well, the times we're in right now, Some days it's just grounding is just not going to be a thing, and that's when you get support, and you work through what you need to work through, and just know that it's temporary. If you can't feel grounded and connected, you're obviously, there's something coming up to be worked through. There's something in the ethers that is coming through, and it's okay. That's when, amongst other times, go out in nature, put your hands on a tree, hug a freaking tree, be that person, or sit next to one, or get next to the water, whatever it is that helps you to that feeling. So sometimes you just have to physically take your vessel and put it somewhere on the earth for that stuff to happen, because what's coming through, what you're working through, whatever it is, had a release, is so big that your tools need extra support there. Okay, hold on, I'm thinking here. Eventually, with the grounding, what happens is, and I see it both ways, sometimes people ground down first. Sometimes as you go along, you ground up first to spirit, and then you anchor down to earth. So if you find that it's easier to anchor to spirit and connect in that way, try it out. I would encourage you to really work with the grounding, especially if you're one that tends to go up and out. Continue to practice growing roots, sending down anchoring cords, whatever it is. And then eventually we'll move into, as our chakra system matures, it almost becomes one unit. So right now we have these separate chakra centers that we work with, that I discussed, but eventually you run a pillar of light, and you bring that pillar of light down. And that's kind of what I talk about as I set up for group healings and for some of these events or these talks. Breathing in your light from below, sending it up to spirit, and exhale, sending it down. So eventually we become much more compacted. It becomes a much more efficient experience. But I want to give you the basics here, growing those roots down, feeling the pulse of the earth, so you have something to build upon. Or for those of you who haven't been exposed to grounding, the morning time will be a great way to do this. Is super important to do this, because especially during dream time, we go up and out, we go places, we do work, we have experiences, our bodies are processing out a lot of things. And so just wake up in the morning, set your intentions for the day from the heart, and then direct yourself, use your imagination, that in between time, to ground into the earth, call your energy back in to this now. And then before bedtime to clear it, so you're not carrying, do the neutral separations especially, so you're not carrying aberrant energy into dream time, because we all have stuff to do during dream time, and carrying your next door neighbor's sob story or whatever might not be part of the thing that is going to be of highest service to you. Not that anything's bad or wrong, it's just, if you have the tools, why not use them? But as you're practicing it just takes time. It's not going to be, 3 days and, grounding is here and I can do it. No, it takes time. For me, I was very much one of those, like, up and out. It allowed me to access a lot of information. It took me years to get grounded. It's a dedicated practice. That's my story. And that's in a different time too. We're much more supported now. And so we're able to bring in these tools a little bit more easily, and much more easily as we go along. So just because that's my experience doesn't mean it's going to be yours, but just being focused, being dedicated, it is definitely worth it. And you, especially if you have like little souls around you or loved ones, you can be that example. You don't have to fix or solve anyone else, but you can be the example. You can be that point of anchored stability that no one really knows what it is. It's not the codependent, oh, so-and-so will take care of it. No, it's just like being in alignment. Hold on, I'm going to bring up that feeling. So when, the shit show's happening in the family or something's going on, and you drop down and you're clear and you're like the beam. You're the column of light, and it is what it is. And you bring in that sense of neutrality from your grounded, centered, neutrally separated space. Of course, if you have reactions, well, welcome to being a human. I'm not saying that, but you can hold that frequency and that grounded state within yourself, and it'll help people to kind of, oh, okay, maybe it's not that that big of a deal, or, they'll just move out of your reality. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. Do you have any questions? While I'm waiting to see if there are any questions, let's go ahead and return any energy that I've accidentally or inadvertently picked up back to you, clear, bathed, blessed, purified, harmonized, and divinitized, and welcoming in my light, clear, bathed, blessed, purified, harmonized, and divinitized back to me. Yep. I'm just going to close this down with gratitude. So be it. Okay. So just a little PSA here. I'll be doing group healings every Saturday with Mel at Collaborative Healing, and it's $50 for an hour for 2 healers. It's quite potent work that we do, and as a group, when we come together, the transformation that can happen is definitely not something that would be able to happen in a one-on-one. One-on-ones are a great container when you're moving through your deep personal stuff. Kind of imagine like a tree in a pot with a pot around it, And when we move into the group experience, you can still be in your own space, but there's a way your root system can kind of branch out and feel and be connected and supported by a bigger community. And when that happens, there are leaps that you can make on an evolutionary, an epiphany kind of scale that can happen in that group experience, because you learn so rapidly from the others and their accumulated experience, because you share soul to soul. And you don't have to take it all on. It's not like we mix energies here, but it's more just a learning and a moving into a unity type experience. We're just all connected in some way, shape, or form. We all influence and support one another. And those actually Mel and I will be doing that through the beginning of March-ish. She'll be having a baby, which we're very excited about, and then she'll be taking some time off, and I will be moving into about 8 weeks of a series. So we'll be offering the same Saturday time. It will just be in kind of a more formalized setup where I'll have a theme, but we'll move into the healing based upon a theme. So it's just really clear that I'll be running the healing, we'll have a focused experience, and then we'll move back into Mel and I hosting healings probably in a couple months after that. So March, April, so maybe end of May. We'll see. We'll see how things play out. So just want to give you a heads up with that. All right, so since there are no questions, thank you so much for being here. If you have any for me at a future time, send me a direct message. And if you're looking for any one-on-one work, just check out the link in my bio. Thank you all for being here. It's really been an honor, and always so special to share this space with you. Thank you so much, and I look forward to connecting with you next week. Be well.